Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my best books of 2019. I read so far in 2019 78 books. I say so far because at the time of filming this Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my best books of 2019. As I'm filming this, it is only the Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my best books of 2019. As I film this, it is the 27th of December and so far this year I have read 78 books. Hopefully I can bump that up to 80 or above as I have a few days of the year left. But let's dive in. So in January I read 4 books. My favourite of which was 13 by Steve Kavanagh. Now 13 is a crime thriller. I cannot remember the name of the protagonist, but he is a serial killer and he murders someone. Well, he's murdered quite a lot of people, but he murders someone and then he will infiltrate the murder trial of the person that's been framed for the murder, and he will sit on the jury of the trial for the murder that he's committed, but he's not on trial, if that makes sense. It's very intriguing. It's wonderful, brilliantly written. I think it's about the 3rd or 4th in a series of books. I haven't read any more in the series, but if I see them in a shop, I will pick them up. In February, I read 8 books, my favourite of which was the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. The previous book I didn't hold up because I don't own it anymore. I gave it to a girl at work because I told her about it and she said it sounded awesome, so she got it. So yeah, this was my February favourite, the #1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. Now this was the very first novel in the Ma Ramotswe saga. I think there's something like 20 books now, possibly more. So this just sets up the story. Ma Ramotswe is an African woman. She starts up her own detective agency. It has a sort of Agatha Christie-like feeling about it, and it's brilliant. And one of my favourite contemporary authors, Alexander McCall Smith, his writing is just stunning. Absolutely love this. If you get the chance to read any of the detective agency, #1 Ladies Detective Agency books, you have to do it because they're brilliant. Well, I say they are brilliant. I've only so far read this one. I do have many of the others, and 2020 I will read more. In March, I read 12 books, my favourite of which was, this was a reread, multiple reread. I think I've probably read this about 5 or 6 times now. It was The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie, my all-time favourite author. Mysterious Affair at Styles was her first novel, published in 1920, so this is literally about to turn 100 years old. The story is set in a country home. The lady of the house is poisoned, and Poirot steps in. He solves the crime, and it's stunning. It's amazingly written. It's full of red herrings. It's full of little plot twists, and only Agatha Christie could write something like this. Brilliant, absolutely amazing. And as this is like the first Agatha Christie, her books did kind of, they did get better, but this kind of is it's the beginning where you should really start with Agatha Christie, and it's brilliant. absolutely great. And this is a facsimile edition of the first edition published in 1920. So yeah. In April, I read 8 books, and my favourite of which was a recommendation from Simon over at Savage Reads. He loved this book and spoke about it all the time on his channel, and I had to get it. It's From the Wreck by Jane Rawson. This was stunning. Absolutely gorgeous writing. A man is in a shipwreck, and he is kept alive by a water creature. It's a while ago that I read this, so it's not kind of fresh in my mind, but I remember how amazing the writing was. It has the feels. It's a beautiful book, and the book itself physically is a beautiful book. So thank you, Simon, for recommending even. Thank you for recommending this. It's gorgeous. I love it. It was brilliant. In May, I read 6 books, and my favourite of which was The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Now, this was a first time reading this book. A bit late to the party with it, but I absolutely adored this book. This book was phenomenal. Told from the perspective of death, so basically the Grim Reaper, and it's kind of set. Well, I think it's kind of set contemporary, but he's telling the story of Liesl Meminger, and it's told through her diaries, and his life sort of hanging around her type of thing. I might be talking absolute nonsense, but that's certainly how I saw it. And after I finished reading this, in fact, I think I hadn't even finished reading this. I had like 50 pages left to read of it. We went, my husband and I went to a book reading for Marcus Zusak's newest book, and that is The Clay Bridge. And we went to Topping and Company in St Andrews, and Marcus Zusak signed my book and drew a balloon for Death to hold, and I just love it. It's fabulous. So yeah, late to the party with that one, but it was glorious and I loved it. Where did we get up to? In June, I read 5 books, my favourite of which was Winter by Ali Smith. I also met Ali Smith, and has she signed this one for me? No, I didn't manage to get this one signed because I think I bought it after we'd met her. We went to Topping and Company to see her do a reading of Spring. So obviously her seasonal quartet, this is part of. I have read Autumn, and I loved that. I read this. It's kind of set around like the political landscape of contemporary life. I'm not going to discuss any more because politics upsets my head, and it's just not. It's not a can of worms that I want to open on my channel. But anyway, yeah. So Winter, absolutely gorgeous. Loved this. If you ever get the chance, you have to read Ali Smith's writing. It's gorgeous. Her prose are stunning. It's so poetic. It's just so. It's so real. It's not pretentious. There's nothing pretentious about it. It's real, and it's like it's from the heart. But it's just gorgeous. And I'm sorry that the foiling there is catching the light, but that does say Ali Smith. So up to July, I read 4 books in July. My favourite of which was a true crime novel, and this was that was It is They Walk Among Us by Benjamin Fitton and Rosanna Fitton. Now, these guys do a true crime podcast. I love true crime podcasts. True crime podcasts are life. And this one is one of my favourites. This is 10 cases that they haven't covered on their podcast. And it's basically full of murder, death, uh, all the good stuff. It's really good. It totally reads like one of their podcasts. You can so imagine Benjamin Fitton reading this as like the stories in here as episodes of their podcast. I will actually link the podcast down below if I can do that. But just absolutely brilliant. Get a chance to read this, you have to. It's on audiobook as well now, so I think it's read by Benjamin Fitton, so it will be like 10 episodes in an audiobook. But it's brilliant. So in August, I read 7 books. My favourite of which was The Rumour by Leslie Cara. I don't have my edition. I'll just pretend that it's here in my hand. I gave it to a girl at work, the same girl that I gave 13 by Steve Kavanagh to. And she has now passed it round her daughter, her friends, and they loved it. So The Rumour by Leslie Cara was about a woman who hears a rumour at the playground when she's picking up her son from school, and it's a rumour about an infamous child killer who supposedly is now living in their town. And the rumour grows arms and legs because she starts to spread it. And the twist ending in the book is just... I just didn't see it coming. And usually I can figure these things out, but I didn't see it coming. It was glorious. And Leslie Cara has a new book coming out in 2020. I think it's called Who Did You Tell? If it's not, I will insert something at the bottom of the screen to tell you what it's actually called, but I think it is called that. And it's set in the same town as The Rumour. So I look forward to reading that. But yeah, amazing book. And I wish I still had a copy of it. In fact, I think I might actually repurchase a copy. And it might be worth a reread in 2020. But anyway. So we're up to September. I read 6 books in September. My favourite of which was George by Alex Gino. I loved this. This was glorious. This is about a little girl who was born a boy, and she wants to play Charlotte in a school production of Charlotte's Web. And because physically she is a boy, she can't. She's not allowed to. But then she ends up playing Charlotte in the play, and she's phenomenal by all accounts. And yeah, this was glorious. I loved this. I read this in about a day and a half, and I couldn't put it down. It was so good, and it just it was like a warm hug. It was just lovely, and I believe that Alex Gino is has written. It's coming out next year, and I think it's called Rick, and it's based upon another character from this book, and I look forward to that. But yeah, George, I heard all the hype about this, and I kind of ummed and ahed, and then when I saw it in a shop, I thought, you know what, I'm going to get that because I've heard so much about it. It sounds not too bad. I loved it. It was great. So if you get the chance, read George by Alex Gino because it was beautiful. In October, I read 4 books. I'll just turn the page of my little notepad here where I have my notes. My favourite of which in October was it was a book club pick, and it was from Hannah Tay over at Hannah Books and Beauty, her Tay Book Club, which I will link her channel down below. It was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This was glorious. I absolutely loved this. It was dark, it was gothic, it was atmospheric. It was just the kind of book that you need to read in October. I mean, the spooky month, the Halloween month. Mrs. Danvers, I hated Mrs. Danvers. She was such a cowbag. I had to physically put the book down at the part where she tries to get Mrs. De Winter to basically throw herself out of the window. I couldn't deal with that. That was just, it was far too much. And I thought, you are a horrible woman. You are a horrible, horrible woman. But this was absolutely glorious. And my husband Duncan and I watched the Alfred Hitchcock movie version, and it was amazing as well. And Laurence Olivier as Max de Winter, hello. But yeah, Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and this edition, I am so happy to have this in my collection. It was published in 2007 by Orion Books, and it's a rare edition now. You can't get this anywhere. This was a very lucky find online, and I'm so chuffed about it. So we're up to November. In November, I read 4 books. My favourite of which was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I adored this. Again, this was dark, it was gothic, it had all the feels of the circus, well, clearly, because it's about a circus. Just, the writing was gorgeous. It was just, again, it was like a warm hug of a book. And it was a nice long one as well. So it was an extra long hug of a book. And meeting Erin Morgenstern and having her, I didn't get her to sign this book because this book's ratty. This is the edition that I read, but I didn't want to hand this over to the author and say, please sign this ratty old copy with a broken spine. So I bought the Waterstones exclusive edition and got her to sign that. But meeting Erin Morgenstern is like, it was amazing. And I had ummed and ahed about this book for years. Do I want to read it? I actually, while I was reading this, on Time Hop Abe, I got a notification one day saying that I had posted this on Instagram as a book mail exactly 2 years before I was the day that it was either the day I started reading it or the day I finished reading it. I can't remember, but literally 2 years before I had posted this as book mail, so I had received it exactly 2 years before. How random is that? But anyway, glorious, absolutely glorious, and everyone in the world, everyone on planet Earth should read this book. It is beautiful. I loved it, and I cannot wait to get to the Starless Sea. That was the book that we went to see Erin Morgenstern read some of in Topping and Company booksellers in Edinburgh. If you ever get the chance to go to that bookshop, you have to go. You have to go. I think there's a couple of branches of it down in England. I think there's one in Bath and there's one in Ely. The one closest to us is St Andrews and then Edinburgh. But yeah, love this. So finally, we're up to December. Now, as I'm filming this, it's the 27th of December. I have currently read 10 books. I doubt that the last few days I will read something better than this. But I read this last night. It took me literally not even an hour. And it was beautiful. The Greatest Gift by Philip Van Doren Stern. Now this obviously is the basis for the Christmas family favourite movie, It's a Wonderful Life, which I have only ever seen once. I know, terrible. This was stunning. It's a quick read. The artwork in here is just, it's delicious. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? And there's more. I'll find some more. Isn't it just typical that when you're looking for something you can't find it? Come on, come on. I'll find the one of the lovely Christmas tree. Yes, I mean, look, that's just beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. The message that I took from this book, and I think it was the message that was meant to be taken, is that live your life, be happy with what you have, because life is short and it can be over like that in the blink of an eye. Don't take things for granted, because it's fragile. This beautiful, so gorgeously written, short, sharp, and to the point, I think you would describe this as. And I feel that this will be a December tradition for me to read this book. It's just glorious. I get the feeling that every time you read it, you might take something slightly different from it. But I think the main message is just to be happy, live your life, be yourself. Like my outro, be yourself, be amazing, be fabulous. Just live life, love, be happy. I'm sorry about that. My camera just decided that it was full again. And I've had to delete some stuff again. Sad. But anyway, I was saying about The Greatest Gift. It's such a gorgeous message in this. And I was saying it's like dance like no one's watching, sing like no one's listening, and love like it's the last day. It's just glorious. So yeah, that's my favourite books of 2019. I will be back again with another video soon, which will be my my most disliked books of 2019. There's not a lot. There's some months that I didn't have any, but some of the ones that I did dislike, I'm not very. I'm going to be a bit sort of truthful about it, shall we say. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have so much fun doing it. Whatever you're reading, I hope you love it. Stay fabulous, be amazing, be yourself, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye bye. Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my favourite books of 2019. In the year of 2019, in the year of our Lord, 2019. Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my favourite...